Will Netflix replace YouTube in 2026? In recent news, Netflix has partnered with another podcast platform to release video podcasts on their platform. However, Spotify has also entered the race for video. So today, Kwanda and I are breaking down Netflix's money moves in video and how you can leverage AI to make sure your business doesn't miss the wealth bubble. I think I was supposed to introduce myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Y'all,
Shamar.
it's the end of the year, okay? It's the end of the year.
I just pause like, all right. So I'm Shamar Star Cox, TV producer and marketing coach. I help 6 and 7 figure business owners get seen and get paid by creating binge-worthy videos on social media and leveraging AI in order to do that. And I'm gonna throw to my girl Quanda.
And I'm Conda Renee. I am a ecosystem strategist. That's just a fancy way to say I help people that have influence on their audience and also monetize their audience. And you know what's so funny is like I feel like it took me all the way to December to arrive at this moment. And but I think it was divine timing, right? I think like because this year I was doing a lot of coaching, I had a mentorship or membership and all of that type of stuff. But in the beginning of the year, it was going okay, and then I felt like I needed to do something else, something more, something needed my attention, but I couldn't really figure out what. And now we are in December, and I'm just like, girl, you got it.
That's your elevator pitch. You got it. I thought you always had it. I just thought you didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I think it was because like I wanted to be very, very clear on who I wanted to serve. You know what I mean? I feel like we are gifted. Somebody says no sound.
Turn it up then.
Oh, okay, because I'm gonna say we should be having sound.
I hear it perfectly fine, so I know they can hear us.
Okay,
Go
okay.
out and come back in.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited about tonight, y'all. We are ending the year, getting ready to exit one season and go into another season. And we're gonna be talking about like getting ready, getting prepared to go into 2026. And of course, we're gonna talk about two things that we love, AI and wealth. And in 2026, those are gonna be two things to dominate in, okay? Dominate in your money and dominate in AI. So
Yeah, let's kick it off by talking about Netflix and their deal with iHeartRadio, which I was shocked to see because they had just partnered with Spotify. I didn't get a chance to do a deep dive. Well, let's talk about the deal first. So, Netflix has partnered with iHeartRadio. They have not disclosed how much money is included in this partnership. But what's happening is Netflix is acquiring iHeart's radio's video version of podcasts. So, iHeartRadio is going to keep the audio version, but Netflix will now be airing the video version. So anyone who loves Breakfast Club, that's going to be on Netflix now exclusively. It will not be on YouTube anymore. There's another one I think is called My Favorite Murder. That's also going to be on net. Yeah, I never heard of it, but I've also just got into podcasts. But that's also going to be on Netflix video only. So if you're watching these podcasts on, and it's funny that they call Breakfast Club a podcast, but if you're watching these podcasts and radio shows on YouTube, now you can actually just catch it on Netflix.
yeah, and I'm super excited that I kind of had a thought though. I feel like I don't know how long is the partnership or the deal. I feel like Netflix is going to learn all they need to learn, and then they're going to back out and do their own thing and try to dominate in that market. I see you, Netflix.
Yeah.
That's I see you, Netflix. So yeah, that I can see that going in that. But I think it's an amazing opportunity. Um, there has been a lot of talks about podcasts lately, and even in the spiritual aspect, there have been people prophesying that going into 2026, that will be a time for podcasts. So if you're somebody and you've been debating on whether or not you should start a podcast, you need to start a podcast. If you know you're called to start a podcast, it's another way to build to your ecosystem. It's another way to reach a different audience, and you never know. TikTok or Netflix may invite you on their platform. I'm sure they're going to want to use some type of diversity. I know right now they're probably doing deals with the bigger people that have the bigger audiences, but you just never know. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it.
Me too. And I find this very interesting because I'm wondering to myself, why now? Right? Like
Yeah.
podcast has been a big deal for some time, and I feel like they kind of died off a bit. But all of a sudden, towards the end of 2025, we're starting to see a really huge push for podcasts. And I'm wondering why now. And most important thing is not just any podcast, it's video podcasts.
Yes.
So I think just about a month or so ago, we were doing one of these lives. And I can't remember what article I read, but they were saying that audio was still the biggest way to consume podcasts. Well, now it has shifted. It probably has shifted for some time, but the data is out now. About 70% of people who listen to podcasts are actually watching video podcasts, right? And so to me, this is very interesting because it reminds me of 2020 when Reels and TikToks really started taking off and people had to learn how to do video. And that was just for short form. And now we're seeing Netflix really leveraging these long form talk shows. That's pretty much what they are. They are long form talk shows that they are now putting on their platform. And you know what? They probably did a trial run with Keke Palmer. I don't know if anybody has seen Keke Palmer's talk show. I saw one episode. I loved it. But I saw when Netflix first released it, and I thought this is different. And now they're going to be releasing a lot more that's similar to this, that's in podcast forms. But I'm wondering why now? Like, what is the shift or what is coming down the pipeline? Why video podcast is blowing up again now?
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. And I also think though they want to compete with like the YouTubes and things like that. You know what I am very interested to see is what Meta does, because back in 2018, 2019, Meta was pushing podcasts. Like I literally got so many downloads when my podcast was connected to my Facebook page. So I'm very curious to see, are they going to spin the block on this, or is it one of those things where they were ahead of the game and then when they didn't see instant gratification, they're just like shifting. Also, remember back probably during the pandemic, not about to say Netflix, Facebook took on like a Clubhouse vibe where you could go live and it's just audio only. That didn't last very long, but they did try to do it. So I'm just curious to see like how they move. I see that Meta is definitely investing a lot into AI. I just saw the other day, it's some type of AI tool that they have that's 100% free where you can make images and I think even do video. I haven't tested it out, but I've been seeing the previews and things like that. You know what my brain is kind of thinking, since we're talking about podcasts and we've mentioned microdramas, I can see like emergence of those, like those coming together. So like a pod drama, somebody does a pod drama, you heard it here first, okay? A pod drama, I don't know what that looks like, but I could see that merging, because you still have a great deal of people, because we are trained to consume short form content so much. You still have a bunch of people that I got to just get a little snippet and then I move on to the next. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting to see how they play out. Also, that was like a few weeks ago where we saw that audio only was like top. Now it unchanged. And it's just like, it's because we as consumers are changing. Our habits are changing. Going into 2026, as you're building out your business, as you're investing in different things, you have to realize that your people are pivoting. So you got to stay in the flow. You got to understand the behaviors of the people that's connected to your business, your clients, and all of that stuff. Some of the things that worked maybe this year or even years before may not work in the past, in the future. So just keeping all of those things in mind. But I'm elated. I'm excited. Is that the right word? Elated?
Yeah, elated and excited. Yeah.
I'm excited about 2026. I feel like we have been doing the work on the back end and it's just only a matter of God. Like,
yeah. I agree with you. And you know what? This pod drama is very interesting, right? So I would like to allow us some time to really develop this because it's in my mind now. Okay, with microdramas, it's the actual storyline that's going on. So if they did a pod drama, it would have to be, so immediately what came to mind was I'm blanking on the name of the podcast. But
it
have you
always comes back to you.
Huh?
It always comes back to you.
It will. Yeah, it will come back. But have you ever seen the movie? It's a show called based on a true story, and it's on Peacock. Have you ever seen it?
Mm-mm.
It is so good. They launched a podcast with a real live serial killer.
Oh wow.
That's what it is. But it's a scripted show. It was with Kaylee Coco, right? And it's her and her husband. They find out who this serial killer is, and then they pretty much get him to do a podcast with them. Their podcast blows up like crazy, but then people start like getting mad at them for doing it. So then it starts getting not not demonetized, but it starts losing views because people are like, we shouldn't be glorifying a serial killer. Anyway, my point is, I can see pod dramas being like that. I
Yeah.
can see like it's a podcast, but it's a show, right? It
Hmm.
made me also think about, I want to say American Horror Story, but that's not what it's called. It's
Okay.
called American something. It's another podcast where they tell stories on these podcasts. So I can see these things like coming to life. Like it's probably not something that's news focused or celebrity focused. It's probably something where they are scripting the content and they're sharing those stories via podcast. I think that that would be really dope for pod dramas. And then you talked about micro dramas. I can see people leveraging micro dramas to promote the podcast, right?
Yeah.
To
Oh,
promote anything really, but to promote the podcast, like because Netflix is going to have to do a big undertaking to get people from YouTube. Well, actually, they already implemented it because now that they have the partnership with iHeartRadio, they're whoever they are putting on Netflix are no longer posting the content on YouTube. So
yeah.
immediately it's like, bam, YouTube won't have it anymore. But they now have to train their people to log into Netflix to watch those podcasts that's going to be on there. And then the
Yeah.
last thing that I want to say is this tells us something very important, right? This lets us know that long form content isn't dead. I think
Right.
people were kind of wondering if it was going to die because short form has taken over, but actually you can leverage your short form with your long form in order to get your people to consume, because what's happening is people are looking for the long form content. I'm one of those people where when I sign on to YouTube, if your video isn't 40 minutes or longer, I'm probably not watching it. It needs to be 40 minutes or longer. I need something to watch when I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, when I'm getting ready for bed. I don't want a quick 5-minute video that I have to keep clicking to find something else. So there are probably lots of other people who have the same mindset. I just want to have something going on in the background and we're paying attention to it. It's just I get to do something else while this long thing is playing in the background.
Yeah, and something that Netflix hasn't mastered that YouTube has is live stream. I believe Netflix does have the capacity to go live. I think they tried it with some type of football game or some big game or boxing or something like that. And I think their servers like crashed. I don't think they expected that many people. So a lot of people complained about, oh, it was blurry, it was fuzzy, and that's because they're trying something that they never tried before. Whereas you could see some of these YouTube videos when they're broadcasting different events and things, they'll have, 50,000 people watching at a time or more because they can handle the bandwidth. So it'll be very, very interesting. Another thought is, what's your thoughts on like audio? Because audio dramas, I think that was a thing on Amazon. I feel like I think I heard like either Taraji or Devon Franklin, they had like these audio only dramas that you could listen to on there. I would like to know where's that gonna go, or is there a need for it? Because when I think of movies, I would think of visuals, but there
Mhm.
are an audience of people that might be in the gym, right?
Yep.
And they might want to listen to it. So I'm curious to know that. Also see on some of when we're looking up some of these news articles and blogs, they have where you could just listen and you don't
Yeah.
have to read it all. So I don't think it's totally gone, but it'd be good to see where it's at going into
Not totally
2026.
gone, just reimagined. But before I
Yeah,
answer that, I do want to talk about Netflix Live. And it's very interesting. I'm feeling like we're going to talk about Netflix for a while because Netflix is very interesting to watch, period, with the moves that they're making. It's like every week they're in the news for something major, for a major um, partnership that they're doing. Like, so if they struggled with doing live back then, they probably won't struggle now that they're acquiring Warner Brothers Studios because
yeah,
they will probably be able to acquire that, right? And I thought it was very interesting. I was watching Fox News. Now, Fox News can be very disrespectful, but I don't know, y'all. I like watching them. It's wild to me. Before I couldn't stand them, but they talk about a lot of financial stuff.
yeah,
But
they
they
do.
referred to Netflix as a tech company, which was very interesting to me. They did not see them as a media company. Paramount also, but Paramount's big mad because they lost Warner Brothers to Netflix. But they are referring to Netflix as a tech company as opposed to a media company. And I think Netflix is like, whatever you want to refer to us as, we're a media company and we're going to leverage, we're going to dominate every area of media. So it'd be interesting to see how things shift once they acquire, if they acquire a studio. I think Paramount is still gunning for it right now. So that's that part on the live. Now, for those audio dramas, let me tell you, I don't listen to them on Amazon, but I definitely listen to them on Audible. Oh, it's the same thing on Audible. Audible, yo, these audio dramas are amazing. Too short though, because I'd be going through it real quick. So Taraji and Tracy Ellis Ross has an audio drama that I listened to, I think earlier last year or earlier this year. I listened to it several times. It is so good, very well scripted. And you know what makes them really good is the fact that you get to envision what's going on in your mind, which
Mm,
oftentimes if you grew up when you me and Quanda grew up, when we were reading books, right? We would envision it one way, and then they would turn the book into a movie, and we'd be like, "Boo! Throw the director out! They didn't do a good job." So these audio dramas allow that to happen, but now you get like the real life story. They have the sound effects and all that stuff. I can see that still being very big, but specifically on the platforms that leverage audio. Like I
mm.
don't see that being big on Netflix or YouTube, but I definitely like Audible's great, iHeartRadio, Spotify, like those platforms, I can see that being great. How to leverage it as a business owner, though? Actually, you still could leverage it as a business owner if you think about it as a micro drama or even a long form drama. You can still be able to leverage it because what this is all telling us when it comes to podcasts, micro dramas, audio dramas is people want storytelling,
Yeah.
and and I'm not just talking about because back in 2020, you know, they were throwing out here's how to tell stories, and a lot of the stories was like behind the scenes content, lifestyle, and story time, right? No, people want actual like fictional storytelling. Like they want to see those creatives. Like there's a crave for entertainment. People want to be entertained. We knew this already, but it's the way that people want to be entertained right now in this season, or at least the way that we're seeing it push. And it reminds me of well this industry, because I've been in the film and television industry for over a decade, probably going on 2 decades now. This is the one industry that will never die. It doesn't matter how many recessions, pandemics we have, the film and media industry will always thrive because people love to be entertained.
Yeah, I heard Myron Golden say like one of the things that poor people invest in is
Mhm.
entertainment. So that's one thing they'll have like not much to the name, but they'll make sure they in some way they'll invest in that entertainment. So that is true, and it's kind of making me think about we're in an era of disruption. And so you use the keyword reimagine. Every arena is going to have to be reimagined. Every industry is going to have to be reimagined in some way. It's almost like we're being challenged to go deeper when it comes to our imagination, our creativity. And I'm totally here for that. And maybe them saying that Netflix is a tech company, maybe they're low key saying what Netflix is going to be, and Netflix don't see it first. Netflix mindset is media first, okay? But maybe they're saying you're going to go beyond media. You're going to be doing
Yeah.
something in technology. You just never know. So I just feel like we're in a good space, a good era, and it's time for us to dominate. This is the time. If you are creative, you should be listening. You should be leveraging AI. You should be leveraging your creativity, your brain, getting some of the things that you desire to do. The other day, well, longer than the other day, but I've had a desire for a long time to create like a sitcom, right? And my sitcom was going to be for like singles, Christian singles, and the struggles they go through. But I wanted to make sure that my sitcom wasn't like Christian fluff, where it's just like, oh, let's pray together. No, we're finna do something, and I got to get out of this house because I'm about to do it. That type of stuff, right? And so now, with the ability of AI, I can literally put this stuff together. Now, it might take me a little bit of time to maybe learn the tools and figure out different things, but I could use ChatGPT to help me brainstorm my ideas. Once I get that, I can use Hicksfields or VO3. There's so many tools that you can use. There's no excuse. Another thought. I know my thoughts are all over the place. That's why when I look down, that means I'm writing because
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know
want to lose
that.
that thought.
I was like,
But
she really out here taking notes.
I want to know how the book industry can be reimagined. If that's even the industry, but like the way in which people consume books, read books, I would like to see where that goes as well. Because I like to read, but at a lot of times I don't have time to sit down and hold the book. I know we got the option to listen to them and things like that, and then sometimes I'll just get what I need to get from that book, and I won't even finish the whole thing, and then that's it. So I would love to see how those arenas could be reimagined, or how what the future looks like for authors and things like that, and stepping out, of doing like, and I'm not just saying, oh, get ChatGPT to write your book. I'm not saying that. I'm thinking beyond that. I'm thinking like, you got some type of link and the book comes up and faces you and then begins to read to you. Like, I'm thinking
That's
just
what I was thinking too. I was like, I think the only way that's going to happen is if they scan the QR code and the image pops up and you can watch what's going on. Like, that was the only way. That's exactly what I was thinking.
you see Netflix, if you watching, you definitely need some strategists on your team, okay?
That would be amazing though. Like, okay, so because I'm very big into interactive experiences, and y'all, please excuse us if we're going fast. We're literally doing this off the cuff. But if you're reading a book and they had like a QR code that you could scan, and then you can like watch the scene as it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So let me think about the Bible. And they're talking about King David battling Goliath, and they had a QR code, and it's like, hey, you scan the QR code so you can actually watch the scene as it's happening, right? And now I'm watching the scene as David is killing Goliath. Like, that to me would be super dope. One, it'll be fun for kids, that's for sure.
Yes.
I'll be reading with my kids, like, here we go. And then secondly, I feel like people will probably hopefully people will want to read more. We shall see. But we're moving towards a season and a society where creativity is going to get you paid. And
Yes.
innovation, see, this is what God was talking to me about today. Like, God's not afraid of innovation, first of all.
He's
That's
an
what,
innovator.
exactly. He is the innovator. So he's not afraid of innovation. It's people that be afraid of innovation. How am I going to execute it? How am I going to do this? But today, you really don't have to be afraid of that. Whatever comes to mind, you can create, right? So 7OD wrote inside the chat, wow. Oh, let me just put it on the screen. Wow, I clicked the right video. I have been researching using my creativity to sell ebooks and digital art. Like, if you are leveraging your ebooks in a way that it can be so creative for people to be able to consume it, like adding an audio version to it, a visual version to it. You said you have digital art. I'm assuming digital art is like animation that you can use. You can sell that. Like, people, I can't remember what article we were reading. We should probably start writing down these articles. But where actually it wasn't an article, it was a TikTok video that says in 2026, they're looking for lots of creators. So like people like this person, 7OD358. Is that guy?
I think so.
Anyway, they're looking for you, right? So it's like, for a lot of you who are watching right now and you want to know, okay, how can I leverage AI? How can I leverage video in order for me to put myself on the map? The first thing you want to do, especially if you're a Christian, is pray and ask God, where am I needed? Just where am I needed? That's it. Like, what industry, what area, what platform am I needed? And he will show you. And then ask him for the multi-million-dollar idea that's going to help you to be seen and get paid, right? And he will show you that. Now, remember, it always comes in seed form. So please don't think that in 5 minutes you're about to make multi-million-dollars. That's wild. But if you do the work, and then you will get seen and you will be able to make the money that you desire to make. But the first thing starts with, where am I needed and what platforms? Because Netflix, I'm telling you, they're acquiring these things for a reason. As Kwanda said before, they're not just only going to go to big creators. They're not just looking for them. They can stumble upon your YouTube channel that blows them away. And they're like, oh, we can put money behind this. Like, they may not have a following, but they have the idea and we can actually create this, right? So yeah. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think also, though, you said a key word, interactive, and you said experiences. That is what's going to be key. We're going to have to give our customers, our clients, experiences going into 2026. No more can you just say, hey, I wrote this book, buy it. No, you have to go deeper, and then once you get them to buy the book, that's not where it stops. You want to keep cultivating that relationship. You want to keep nurturing them. So when maybe you got a documentary you're gonna throw with the book, you can give them scenes. And I'm thinking now with these books, y'all can create little microdramas around some of the content in your book that can really draw people in. We know we live in a visual world. People like that type of stuff. You can create a whole little drama from a piece of the chapters in your book. And then at the end of that, you say you want go deeper. I got a book.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think we have to be creative. It's no time to be lazy. It's time to just figure out our lane and dominate in that lane. I posted over the summer on TikTok, I was posting like different ways you can make money with AI. And I noticed that the people that comment were the ones just looking for a quick, rich
Mm.
scheme. And it's just like, you don't want to look at AI as something to just get rich quick. You want to look at it for longevity. That's why you got to do something that you actually like to do, something that maybe you're an expert at, or you can learn to be an expert. You just don't want to just, I mean, you want to think about your future. You don't want to be looking into June 2026 and you ain't got no money. You know what I mean? So we have to think, we have to challenge ourselves to think beyond where we are. We have to get out of the struggle mentality, that procrastination mentality, and see how can I use this to really dominate in my arena and change lives. These you see these companies, the Netflix, the iHeartRadios, best believe they're going to be watching. They're going to be
Mhm.
watching the creators who have audiences. They're going to be watching different content that people, you just never know who's watching, and they're going to be watching. So you want to make sure you got all your ducks in a row.
I agree. And honestly, if you are on social media, the goal is to be seen and get paid. Like the goal is not to create content that nobody ever sees. The goal is not to be invisible. So for some of you who are like, well, I don't really want people to see me and I'm scared to post my content, get off social media. The goal is to be seen and get paid. And now I feel like the door is opening for a lot of people to be able to do that. But you got to start putting out the content now. And I'm not saying that you got to like rush to put out the content, but you definitely want to move with urgency. I've been feeling that urgency that's like put out
Yeah.
more, like do this, put this out now, release this now. Like I've been feeling the urgency, which means that very soon y'all gonna be like, hey, Star got to deal with da 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 da. Okay, that part. So
I'll be
I'm really
back.
excited about that. But I love how these video podcasts are taking off. And what makes it so good is that it doesn't have to be just celebrity driven. Like I think about Stephen Bartlett. He has Diary of a CEO. If Netflix chose to bring that on, that's a business podcast.
Absolutely.
There are people who have financial podcasts. So for some of you where you're like, I don't want to cover celebrity news, you don't have to. You literally can get paid for speaking on a thing that you're the expert at. And so it makes me think about Myron Golden, right? So Myron, when we're learning from him, he talks about the 4 levels of value. And those 4 levels is based on how people get paid. He says the lowest level of value is implementation. Those are the people who work with their hands. Those are janitors, those are plumbers, the people who have a trade. They get paid the least amount of money because they're using their hands, right? And the reason why they get paid the least amount of money is because that's where a lot of their time is going to. And then the next level is something about managers. Okay, I'm just going to skip that level. And then the level after that is communication. People who are communicators get paid a lot of money. Like the starting salary for a lot of communicators, especially if they're actors, if they are talk show hosts, podcast hosts, people putting out video content, a lot of them are getting paid 6 figures off the bat, right? The highest level is imagination. Those are your thinkers like Steve Jobs and whatnot. But the ever since he said that once you become a communicator, you get paid, I believe him. I be making my bed thinking about it like I'm getting paid for this. And you get paid a lot of money. So you'll see like people get mad, like, oh my goodness, teachers should get paid more than athletes, or janitors should get paid more than talk show hosts, which is true, right? They probably should. But in our society, the way that money flows, if you are a great communicator and a great orator, you're going to get paid a lot of money, because what comes along with communicating is influence. And there's a lot of you, actually, there's like 5 of you watching right now, probably about 7 who's going to come and watch the replay, where God has called you to great influence, but you are hiding from communicating. In your mind, if I go live and I make a mistake, or I say the wrong thing, people are going to make fun of me. That may happen one time. Like the very first time I went live, I cried live. And that was embarrassing for me. But here I am, like 7 years later, still going live, still talking. Guess what? I get paid for what I do. And soon I'm about to get paid a lot more for what I do. Mhm.
So did you end the live or did you keep going?
I kept going, girl.
I'm proud of you, period. Keep going, friend. That's That's a lesson right there. I remember the first time I was live, I was nervous. I was sitting on my apartment floor. It was 2,000 people in the live. My first live ever, and 2,000 people over. And I wasn't talking about nothing, sitting on the floor. How embarrassing.
2,000 people. I'm done. See, God didn't do me like that. I had 10 people on my live.
I'm like, I couldn't believe people were in there because I was literally talking about nothing, okay? Nothing. I was just like, hey guys, it's my first time going live. Put your city.
And look at you now. You a pro at this. That's the other thing. I think people think that just because we talk, that you automatically know what to do live. You're automatically going to be the best person live. Like, no, this is a skill we had to develop. Like
Yeah.
God literally had to train me. I learned how to go live and talking to people for 2 hours straight. I could talk for 2 hours straight on a live without anyone talking at all. But God trained me in 2020. He called me to quit my job. And then I was on Clubhouse. And during that time, Clubhouse shifted. Clubhouse, I should say 2021 rather. Clubhouse used to be the space where everybody want to get on stage and talk. And then for some reason, January 2021, nobody wanted to get on stage and talk. So I'm over here hosting rooms and people just want to listen to me. And I'm like, you sure y'all want to listen to me? But I recognized in the moment. I said, this is my training ground. I used to be so scared. Like, what if no one shows up? What if I run out of things to say? Now, please, it don't even matter. Just give me one topic. I'll talk for 2 hours straight. And then if you give me a co-host, I'll cut that in half. I'll talk for an hour. They talk for an hour. Like, mhm.
It's funny because when you said that about Clubhouse, because I remember back in the Clubhouse days, they used to be like, oh, you dropping gems. You got gems and
Yeah, we had Clubhouse language. I remember.
that is so funny. I remember like it's so crazy how that was like a go-to platform for maybe what a year or so like that.
Mhm.
I think where they dominated at is the exclusivity. Before you had in the beginning, you had to get an invite to get in the door.
Yeah.
And it was just like if you didn't get an invite, you wasn't cool yet. I remember I heard about it in a Facebook group, and I was just like, I need to be in there. You know, I got one of the biggest platforms on Facebook. I definitely need to be in the room. Y'all send me an invite. Send me an invite. But it just made you seem like you was the cool person when you got the invite. But unfortunately, I think I might have I joined. I never hosted my own rooms. I would join other people, and other people invite me up to talk. But I did not dominate on Clubhouse. I didn't really do my thing on there. Is anybody? Yeah, I know that there's a couple pastors and preachers who still like dominate over there. There was a one real estate lady I met, and she had her room stay lit. And I don't know if she's selling the real estate. I don't know what she's doing, but she talks about still being on Clubhouse, and that's where she began her leads from. So I guess for some people it still works.
Yeah, I
Maybe the
know.
older
Yeah, I know some people where they still use their. Chanel says she sold her invites. That's smart. That's
that
Chanel was a businesswoman. She'd be like, if I could make fun money from it, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, there are people on there where they still leverage it, but I have noticed that their rooms have tanked significantly. Like they went from thousands of people joining to 800, from 800 to 500. Now, granted, there's still a lot of people,
yeah.
but when they first started, it was like 2,000 people in their rooms. Like I remember when I first started going on there, I was in rooms, I was speaking in rooms with like thousands of people in there. And then it just kept dwindling, 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 dwindling. I can always tell when God's like, all right, your time's up. Because then it'd be me and one other person. And I'm like, all right.
Do
So
you think they can make a comeback? Like, is there a possibility? Would we have?
Clubhouse,
Yeah.
if they added audio drama, probably. The problem with Clubhouse is so the exclusivity was going for them, one. Number two, when it was only on iPhone, it definitely was exclusive because it was like, it didn't matter if you had Android, you can't get on here. But they still, because we were on Clubhouse from 2020 all the way till 2023, really leveraging Clubhouse. Still, my ministry is still on Clubhouse now, but we like to leverage Zoom more. The problem with Clubhouse was when they transitioned, they wanted to change. They changed it in 2024 or maybe end of 2023, where they were like, we're going to make this more like a walkie-talkie app. I know
Mm.
that sounds weird, but y'all just remember Nextel. Y'all remember Nextel with the chirp? That's what Clubhouse was endeavoring to do. And what they specifically said, this is not the platform for seminars and conferences and all that stuff, even though the
That's
creators that were on there were making a lot of money and bringing a lot of people on specifically for that.
yeah.
So the creators were mad. I remember being in a room where the creators was like, if they change the platform, we're leaving. But Clubhouse was like, we're going to change it anyway. And they changed it. As soon as they changed it, those big creators left. And that's when it tanked. And now, but clearly it didn't tank that badly because they're offering subscriptions where you can actually pay for, yeah, you can actually pay for Clubhouse. So clearly it's not that bad, but it's just not as popping as it used to be back in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, that's interesting. I used to back in the day want to be hired by like big companies like that to tell them how they need to reimagine or pivot or whatever. One of the places I used to always I felt like Toys R Us should have never went out of business. I said if Toys R Us would have hired me, they would have never went out of business because we would have had slime centers set up. This is when slime was
Yeah, I
a
remember.
thing.
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what it is though, with a lot of those companies, Toys R Us stuff, it's the real estate.
yeah.
Like literally paying that rent. Like they had the big store in Manhattan that, I used to like walking by in Christmas time, but it's the real estate. And then Amazon made it so easy for people to go out of business. Like Amazon was like, first of all, I love Amazon.
Me
I'm
too.
not gonna front. I think it's a genius business plan. And I know it didn't even start that way. That's what makes it even more genius. They just keep evolving. And
Yeah,
Amazon is really gunning for everyone.
yeah.
I will not be shocked if Amazon decided we're going to launch our own phones. That's what we're going to do next. And so you can get an Amazon phone and you won't even have to worry about all these extra charges from Verizon. We're going to just launch our own networks. Where, like, I just wouldn't be shocked if Amazon did that, and they will have me because I will.
I see that as but only for Prime people. If you got Prime, you get a free phone.
You get a free, yep, you get a free phone. We now have our own services. We have 5G. Actually, we moved up to 7G. So T-Mobile still got 5G. We're on 7G. I could just see Amazon doing it.
Yeah. I think the only thing they haven't dominated with is they tried is the live stream. I don't really see people
Mm.
going there for live stream.
I
Because I
just, well, I just found out about the live stream today.
really
Yes,
it's
only because I was listening to someone's YouTube live. She's talking about not Taraji Candy on Amazon Live. I said Amazon. I thought she said the wrong thing. I was like, she means YouTube Live. And then she did a clip of the Amazon Live. I was like, Amazon got lives? I didn't even know that.
I think around the pandemic when I mean, I feel like they were onto something with like social selling, but I think in our minds, we don't necessarily want to go to Amazon to watch a live to somebody sell to us. It's working perfectly for TikTok.
Yes.
TikTok is definitely dominated. People will be in on these lives selling their pocketbooks or selling whatever and have thousands of people in the lives.
Mhm.
And it's working for them. And I think that TikTok Amazon sees TikTok as a threat. In my opinion, I do believe
Oh,
that
that's
because
a really
and
good
their
point.
prices very similar. Some things you can get a little bit cheaper. So keeping that, I think Amazon might have them beat when it comes to like
Yeah.
shipping prices and the fast shipping. But before we go into whatever the next thought is, I can kind of see a webinar seminar platform. Since you said that, I could kind of see there being a platform, kind of like how Clubhouse used to be, and just this is where they house different webinars and different seminars. And maybe you pay like a monthly subscription and you can go to different people's webinars and seminars.
Honestly, that's what Clubhouse should have did because that's why people were going on it. Like I remember one of my friends hosting an entire award show on Clubhouse. Yeah, one of my awards. Is it here? I don't remember where it is. It's packed up. But I won an award. Like she had an entire award ceremony. I meant award ceremony on there. Like people have conferences on there. I used to when I first launched my business, I used to have um private client meetings on Clubhouse. Like Clubhouse used to be a really big deal and it was great because you didn't have to see people
Yeah.
and you didn't have to pay for Zoom. You just had this space that you could show up, get clients or, have meetings or conferences or whatnot. And they really fumbled the bag when they decided cuz in their mind they were like Clubhouse started because we wanted to bring people closer together and connections. That's cute. YouTube started because they wanted it to be a dating app.
Right.
You saw how well that worked out for YouTube. So Amazon started as a library, but none of them were like, we're going to kick these people off and just stick to why we started. Like, that was like the dumbest thing. They should have kept it as a webinar and seminar platform so that people could keep posting their stuff there. I think that it would have been a lot bigger now. Like
Yeah.
then and they could have launched subscriptions and people could have just it probably could have also been another it could have probably been it could have been school before school came into play. It really could have been that.
Oh
Like because
yeah.
yeah, because I'm not a fan of school, but it really could have been a school because just the way that it was set up in a way where like you're on the stage, you could invite people up, like it really was great. But now they fumbled the bag. That's what happens when you don't want to move with the times.
Yeah. It makes me think too, like, I think Facebook may be still dominating with the amount of people that actually use the platform. And I guess it makes sense because they're probably like the oldest still living or still, I hate to say it like that, but the oldest still, moving and thriving. But I remember during the pandemic, they invested so heavily into the metaverse and all of that type of stuff, and they had, you're going to be doing things virtually, and they all these cool concepts. And then once we got back out, they were saying they don't know when they're going to do it again. But Mark, that was his name, Mark. Yeah, Mark invested all of this money. They took a hit. He invested so much money into this stuff, so I'm wondering, where's the whole virtual reality thing going to go to? Because now that we have AI, I can see stuff like that coming into play. I'm sorry, I am like in creation mode. I'm just saying all different kind of stuff. I know you could come on here and like just steal all my ideas and go start your $1 billion company, because I'm just
But you know what? They're not going to do that first of all because they can't see what you see. Um, they Facebook was just ahead of their time. They did it too soon. What they should have done was they should have left it in concepts. That's what they should have left it in and just try to develop that. Now, people who are doing like what is it called? I want to say crypto and Bitcoin. Some other currency. I can't remember the name of the other currency. Like people who come out with their own coins and stuff. Apparently, they're the ones who leverage those types of things.
Mm,
Um, but I think they needed to wait maybe another 10 years. Like AI needed to come out first because it looks like every time someone tries to really go hard with VR, it just doesn't work.
yeah,
Like back when we were maybe like 20 years ago or so, they tried to launch like holograms for artists. That didn't really work out. They had like the VR games and stuff. I feel like that works out right now. Like that's pretty fun.
yeah,
Actually, that's probably what Meta needed to do. They probably needed to just have whole like physical spaces that people can come into.
yeah,
That's probably what they need to do, and then actually do it that way. I don't think that we were ready for a metaverse in our own homes yet,
yeah,
especially when people were missing going outside. But if you can get people out their house to be in a virtual space and they could be there for more than 10 minutes, just play. Because I've done those virtual reality games, they are fun. But for the people who want to just be able to like be in a space and actually build their place up there, I think that that will work. But I also see that coming maybe like 2035. I think that they were just ahead of their time.
yeah. I can see that working for like the AI characters that everybody is creating, that we're building out. I can see like creating some type of immersive
Mhm.
space or something like that where they can dwell and live. I feel like we're getting ready to see like a culture of fandom, for lack of better words, where people see Shine and now they want to just binge watch everything Shine does. They want to see Shine's outfits and things like. I feel like we're coming into a space, and so since we're going to come into that space, it's just thinking about the possibilities of where this could go. Like we're in such a great time. We're in. It reminds me of the industrial revolution they taught us about in school, where it was like they were at the lowest, was it the depression or whatever, but they had all these inventions,
Exactly. Yep.
all these inventions. You think about oh my god, George Washington Carver. He
Mhm.
invented peanut butter.
Mhm.
He was reading the Bible and God told him about the peanut. And then God gave him 100 different ways he could use the peanut. And everybody wanted to know, well, how did you come up with it? He was like, the Bible. And it was just like, the Bible talks about peanuts. He said, no, but the God of the Bible told me about peanuts. So it's just creativity gonna be on another level. I think too, and then I'll give it over to you. I think too, A lot of people have a limited perspective. A lot of people says, "Oh my God, AI is taking jobs. Oh my God, this and this is happening." But it's like, no, you got to expand your mindset. You got to dream again. That's something that's taken away from us as adults. We don't use our imagination. When I was a kid, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a singer in Hollywood. I would go down the street. We had like a little a watch company, and when they would be closed, it was like really next door to my house, but when they be closed, I would go practicing and singing. You could not tell me I was gonna be a Hollywood star back then, but I had such a great imagination, and I think that's where we're coming back, is we have to dream. I think sometimes people think when you think imagination, oh, it's just this darkness. No, you can literally have a Holy Ghost imagination. You think about imagination, move God in the Bible. When I can, I'm gonna just paraphrase it, the Quantum Renee version. But like Nimrod and them, they all came together and they was coming in. Their imagination was coming in. And God, like, hold up. He had to come down from heaven and shake it up real quick. Like imagination will move God. So.
I'm laughing so hard because I'll be saying that too. Well, I don't say Quantum Renee version, but I'll be like the star retelling version. The SRV. Y'all got that SRV? I love that. You got the QRV. That's good. That's good. She's talking about Nimrod when they was building the tower in Genesis 11. They were afraid the flood was going to come again. They said, we're going to build this tower to heaven so we can protect ourselves. And God was like, over for that. But you said so much. You talked about like this fandom that's going to happen and creating a space for AI characters. And immediately I thought about Ready Player One. Has anyone ever seen that movie, Ready Player One? It is a great movie. You gotta watch it. I can't be the only one watching these.
Old or new?
It's old. It's old now.
Okay.
So it probably came out like a couple of years ago, but it is pretty much a tribute to all of why am I blanking his name? Jewish guy who did Star Wars. Yeah, I don't know the Jewish guy.
I don't know his name, but I know Star
Steve
Wars.
something, whatever. Steve. Okay, Steven Spielberg, that guy.
Oh, Spielberg, yeah.
Steven Spielberg is a tribute to all the movies that he created. And in that movie, everyone operates in this virtual reality pretty much. They have on the glasses and they only know each other by their characters. Like it is great. They don't tell each other their names or where they live or anything like that because anyone can rob you. But it's a great movie. So it made me think about that. And I'm like, hey, Steven Spielberg, it was onto something because it looks like that's where we're heading right now. So that's going to be very interesting. Okay, let me delete that. I wrote that down. And I lost my other train of thought, but it will come back.
Your thoughts always come back. So what do you think about us being our own media companies or media distribution centers? What do you think about that?
That's a good question. And I also want to make sure we don't miss Chanel's question. And
okay, go ahead.
No, I want to answer your question. Okay. Yes, that's what I think. Yes. And why I'm saying yes is because one of the greatest ways to make millions of dollars and have lots of influence is to have a media company, because it is media that controls the minds of people. That's actually why I ended up going into media, not because I want to control the minds of people, but I want to liberate the minds of people, right? And so there are a lot of people where they get their news from social media. Now, prior to that, it was just whatever the news is saying. Back in the day, you used to have a decorated degree in order to report the news. You had to do some investigation. Today, you don't need none of that.
Today, and they don't fact check today either.
They do not fact check. Today, let me tell you, I have been watching the news. Two news channels I've been watching, CNN and Fox 5. And whenever Trump does something, Fox 5 will report it, and they're always on Trump's side. And the way they report it is like, this man can't do no wrong. And then CNN will report the same thing, but they're against Trump. So the way that they report it is like, everything that Trump does is wrong. And in my mind, I'm sitting here like, I can't watch neither of y'all because I don't know which one is true. Like you can't, like it is so opinionated. It is so crazy because they do not fact check, right? So there are people who have launched their own media companies using YouTube, and it's free. They get on there and they tell you we have the real news. I've watched some of those channels and I'm like, I don't know if this is real, but I like when you keep saying I have the real news. Be your own media company. It is time to monetize your influence. Yeah. Like, I loved when you brought up George Washington Carver because it wasn't just about here's what you can do with the peanut. He literally monetized his influence, like he monetized his intellect, and that monetization turned into influence. That's what God is doing with his people. Like for us to sit around and miss this innovation bubble has to be that we're not tapped in. We need to be like the sons of Issachar, where we are tapped in, listening to God as he's leading us, because clearly he's telling us, hey, when you have your own media company, there's so much that you can do. So, yes, have your own media company, liberate the minds of people, because the other thing that we're not saying, but we've kind of said it a little bit in the beginning, is what's really getting people these deals is the large audiences that they have.
Yeah.
If you build your own media company, then you have a large following on top of that. There's really nothing you cannot do. If you want to run for president, feel free to do so, because you will. I mean, Mamdani became mayor because he really leveraged social media. Good for him. Good for him.
And it's a bonus if your people are buyers, because a lot of brands, like there's some people that they don't have like 20 and 30,000 followers, but they'll maybe have five, but a good percentage of them will buy. Brands are looking at the behaviors of your people. So they're like, hey, if I pay you to post this product or pay you to do an ad or whatever, we're going to get a return back on our money. So keeping that in mind too, the audience that you're cultivating, you don't want to cultivate. And know this, I know this like the back of my hand. You don't want to cultivate a bunch of people that just looking for free. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. And to your point about Trump, you did say you wanted to talk about BBC privately. So I don't know if you want to get into that now or what.
I did not get a chance to read the article, but I saw a headline come across our phone that says Trump is suing BBC for $5 million for defamation of character. Let me make sure it's $5 million, but I remember it was a large amount of money. And I said, the nerve of him.
That money.
And the reason why I said the nerve of him, let me see. Oh man, so much news just came in. Like it buried it. But the reason why I say the nerve of him is because of how disgusting his mouth is. This man talks about everyone like they don't got no mama. It is so disgusting the way that he talks about black countries. It's disgusting how the way he talks about people and what they're doing in their fields. And then got some nerve when someone starts talking about him to sue how many people? BBC is not the first case. Like he was the reason why, what's his name? Jimmy Fallon got taken off the air for a good 2 days. He's also one of the reasons why, I can't remember the other guy's name. He was doing a Tonight Show, I think, got let go. They saying that it wasn't him, but when you look at the news and stuff, I'm like, how dare you? But the reason why I wanted to talk about it is not because of just how crazy Trump is when he's suing. It really is the fact that he's trying to silence media and freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And only push the media that's pushing him. And so if God is telling us be your own media company, we want to make sure that we're jumping in from now, that the government does not control it in a way that it silences it, and then we can't further what God is calling us to do. I think that that's really important. So I've been watching his moves when it comes to media. There's been a lot of companies who have been folding under pressure because he's not suing them for hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's suing them for millions of dollars. Now, my thing for these media companies, I feel like they need to get together themselves and sue him back for billions of dollars, and then he will stop. Then he will fall back.
Can I read this quote Malcolm X said years ago about media? He said, "The media is the most powerful entity on the earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent and to make the voiceless heard or unheard." I always take that quote with me everywhere I go, because I'm like, media is so powerful because they essentially control the narrative. Like now we're in a generation where I can go make a video right now and be like, y'all, breaking news, da 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 da. Go. I can go viral and be lying the whole time, and nobody's gonna check me on it. Nobody's gonna do the research.
No,
it's a bunch of telephone, honestly.
Mm-hmm. They're just, what people are doing is they are just, if you say it, this is why like I don't really like talking about stuff like in too much detail if I haven't read at least 2 or 3 articles on it. Yeah, it's $5 billion. Excuse me, y'all. I kept saying 5 million. He's suing them for $5 billion.
I was like, 5 million is too low. That's a waste of time.
It was low. The nerve of him. But yeah, people aren't fact checking because here's the thing. A lot of people just want to be told what's going on in the world. And granted, you don't need to know everything that's going on in the world. Like for me personally, I like following money in the news. So you're not going to see me talking about the murder that happened down the block or, you know, the girl that was kidnapped. Yes, those are all sad they're also very traumatizing for me. I can't even hear certain types of things. So whenever you hear me talk about news, it's because they're talking about money. So I follow financial news. I'm not going to follow something that makes me traumatized.
Yeah.
But like people, like they're not going to do their own research on it. If you said it, that's it. Like if it comes out of Trump, there's some Trump supporters. If it comes out of Trump's mouth, it's real and it's true. And I'm like, y'all are wild.
Yeah, you know what made me smile is thinking about last night. So last night after you and I went to that virtual event, I
Mhm.
was texting my spiritual mother and my best friend. I'm like, my friend Star gonna bring in wealth, cause period,
That's
period. And they just thought I was so crazy for saying that. But I was like, listen, her, of course she gonna preach about that. We gonna spend the block on that money, okay?
I mean, I didn't even hear. Okay, y'all. So we was at a Christmas party yesterday. It's for Kwanda's spiritual mom. She was hosting a Christmas party. It was virtual, right? And I was working while I was at the party, so I did not hear the instructions. All I know is she was like, "Who wants to preach?" And somebody brought up the lady with the oil, and I said, "Oh, but she's just talking about oil. We need to talk about what really happened with this oil." And then when I was done, I was like, "I don't even know if that's what I was supposed to talk about." She didn't even ask me like, "Which one you talking about, oil or
No, it
whatever."
didn't matter. We were just kind of vibing though. We were just going with the flow. Somebody says a word or she said the word and then you just make it your own. It's actually a very popular game, I think, on social media. I think it's a little bit different, but I think we have our own spin to it now.
I like it. It's good. I loved it. I mean, my heart was like, "Bring it up, girl. Bring it up." I was like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna bring it up. Like we gotta talk about what." I mean, for me, I have made it so normal in my life to bring up money, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions, multi millions, trillions of dollars. Somebody wrote septillion inside the chat one day, and I was like, "I'm gonna start saying that."
Right.
Septillion, right? Like I feel like, especially in church world, and y'all can like write in a chat if you've experienced this, but I feel like people, when it comes to talking about money, they start like backing off. In
Yeah.
their minds, they think, I'm being greedy if I talk about money, right? Or if I talk about that I want to make $1 million, I have to give a reason why, right?
Yeah.
And my reason needs to be justified by charity. And it's like, no one does that when they want to get married.
Right.
Like no one's like, I'm getting married for like this big purpose. Like they're probably getting married because they just want to have sex, right? So for me, I have made it something so normal that $1 million is like, that's just $1 million. That's it. You know, like when I said, Trump's suing them for 5 million, you were like, that's too small. Exactly. That is the language, right? 5 million is way too small. Right. So once you normalize it, it becomes this thing where one, it flows to you, but also like you can have these conversations without being judged by the world. I feel like the world tries to judge you when it comes to talk about money. So I love just like talking about it.
Absolutely. And I think that's something, well, when I used to have a poverty mindset, that was one of the things you don't want to talk about is money because you ain't have it. So I also think that's like a trick of the enemy to like keep you in bondage to make it seem like, oh, it's bad to do. No,
Yeah.
no.
Meanwhile, all the people who are carnal and not Christian talk about money all the time and they always got money
Exactly.
flowing to them. So clearly.
Exactly.
All right. So let's answer Chanel's question. She said, "Do you think they don't work or they just completed their capacity for that time frame?" I should have read this question when she wrote it because I don't remember what we were talking about.
Me neither.
Sorry, Chanel, are you still on? What were we talking about Meta and were we talking about Meta and the metaverse? If you want to give us some more, I should have read that when I
Sorry.
don't remember.
When those ideas flow, we just just go with it. So sorry.
Yeah, that happens. I think well, if she's not here anymore, then we can start wrapping up. But I had fun with this conversation.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
we have an announcement to make, y'all. So I think either next week or the week after, we can do it both weeks. I'm okay with it. But what we want to do is if you're interested and you want to be able to get some feedback on your business and a wealth strategy for AI for 2026, we would love for you to come on stage with us as we audit your business live. And then we give you some wealth tips and AI tips for your business for 2026, right? There's a lot of things that God has downloaded into us. I mean, I didn't even realize it was God downloading into me. I was like, where am I getting this information from? Until Quanda started sending me confirmation. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is totally God, right? So we can be able to share these things with you for your business. That's if you're interested. We don't really have a method for people to sign up. What are they going to do? Just raise their hand?
However you want to do it, should they if you're watching a replay, should they comment or should we
Yeah, if
just
you're watching a replay, comment me.
me?
Okay, comment me if you're watching a replay. If you're still watching right now, you can comment me and I'll taking a screenshot does not help. So you actually have to write it on the replay so that we can actually reach out to you. Oh, see, let faith light the way. Oh, were you with us last week? I think she was with us last week.
But you're gonna have to be able to come up and tell us about your business. Like, let's not do where, oh, we send something in. I want them to tell us about their
Oh,
business.
yeah, yeah. Because we're gonna do it live. So let
Right.
faith light the way. There is no way that we can reach out to you on YouTube. So if you could, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll just drop my email.
Okay.
Just shoot me an email. Lookastar.com. Yeah,
And you have to be able to be here too, so that way, you know.
yeah. So let fate light the way. She raised her hand first, but anybody else who wants to, you can feel free to drop me in the chat. Take down my email, just shoot me an email and say, hey, I would like my business audited and I want some AI tools, AI strategies for 2026. And me and Kwanda, we're going to do that with you live, right? So we're really good at you just tell us what you got and we're going to give you the feedback right then and there, right? So you don't have to send us anything in advance. We don't need to look at websites. All that stuff's just going to clog us up anyway. All you need to do is be present next week at 6:15 p.m. Eastern. I'm saying 6:15 because we be all late sometimes, right? So 6:15 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll call your name and then we'll send you a private link. Yeah, actually, it's really good if you email me because I can send you the private link via email so that you
Yeah.
can be able to come on stage. So we'll have you on here. If you want to wear makeup, you can wear makeup too. But our goal is to really talk about your business. Do you want to say anything about that, Kwanda?
Do we want to make sure, are we doing like somebody that has a business and not somebody that's thinking to
Yeah.
start a business?
No, you definitely need to have a business.
Right. Okay. Let's just put that out there. So if you're watching, you need to have some type of business already, not just an idea in your head. So you got to have something that we can work with so we can like dissect it and give you a strategy that you can take into 2026. You got millionaires finna to pour into you and to
Mhm.
help you with your business. So it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. Um, before we wrap up, guys, if you're not following me, make sure you follow me. My YouTube is now Kwanda Renee AI. Kwanda Renee AI. So just put that in the little search bar. If you're watching me from Stars Pages, put that in the search bar and connect with me as well. I am in 2026. I'll be doing some more long form content and pushing more things in relations to AI and digital ecosystems and monetizing and things like that going into 2026. So I'm super excited about that.
I love that. I'm dropping her YouTube in the chat so you all can just go ahead and click that and hit subscribe. Yeah, I love it.
Thank ya.
You're welcome. And then for me, I did launch the first ever AI co-host podcast, right? So we're pretty excited about that. We have 5 episodes up now. Well, I should say 3. We have 3 episodes up now. Yes. And we're getting ready to launch the 4th episode next week. And so if you really think about how a podcast or a talk show is, where like pretty much how me and Kwanda are right now, this is how me and my AI co-host is as well. It's a lot of fun. We're talking about wealth. It's where we get to talk about the money moves that's happening inside of the world, but then also we get to share information on what the schools never taught us, right? So we start talking about the different wealth topics on what the schools never taught us. So if you're someone where you want to be entertained, you want to see how I'm using AI for this podcast, and also this is like indicative of how I'm going to be using AI in 2026, then feel free to check out the show. I'm going to grab the YouTube link because I always forget to grab it. I don't know why I always forget to grab the link. You can talk while I find it,
I
please.
was going to ask you, can you show Shine as well so people can kind of get a feel for when you say, AI co-host, they might think like it's a robot. I mean, technically, you know what I mean? They might think it's like a little, bot in this hi star, how were you? And it's like, no, Shine is a whole girl, a whole character, a whole woman. So definitely, if we could get that on the screen, that would be amazing, y'all. Start thinking about these digital characters, digital avatars that you can add to your business. Maybe they'll create a tool and your avatars can start hosting webinars on your behalf. And all you got to do is let the host talk while you're just in the chat, just making sure everything is okay. So start thinking about those type of things, because that is the route that we're going into 2026. Well, it's already started, but look beyond just aesthetic. Think about, how can this AI co-host or AI avatar or character enhance my business? How can it help me generate more revenue? Because these AI characters and avatars are something that we're not omnipresent. While you're sleeping, the content can be going out. That's another thing to start thinking about going into 2026, is content, in the way in which content is served and content creation. I didn't want to.
No, that was good because I was like, oh, and I'll get to play it in the background to make sure I'm at the right spot. So you did really, really good. Thank you for that. But yes, I agree with you in thinking about how you want to reimagine your content. And this is something that, this is an idea that God gave me. So I love when you brought up George Washington Carver. God told George what to do with that peanut. God told me what to do with AI. Okay. And
Period.
tell you what to do with it too. So I'm gonna play just a couple of seconds of the podcast, but you'll see like it's set up as a talk show, and then you get to see how Shine comes in. And I'm so happy you told me to play it too, because every time I talk about it, people think she's one thing, and then when I show them, they're like, "Whoa, I was not expecting that." So that David and Michelle both said that if the people did not hit their quota for the day, they would not be able to eat. But the people who were doing the work was believing that this was for God. So they were doing it as a worship unto God.
This whole situation exposes what happens when people use God's name to fund greed. You can preach prosperity, but if your integrity's bankrupt, your ministry is too.
So there's some people who may see this case and think to themselves, this is why. Right. So that's just a quick 10 seconds of me and Shine, where we're actually talking about the latest Wealth Wire, which is where we're following the money moves in the news. And actually that story is about two pastors who got arrested for running a labor camp inside their church. So that's what we're talking about. And then you get to see how Shine gets to talk. She's really witty. She's a lot of fun. I mean, next time I'll actually have a clip that I can play, like a long clip with her as part of it. I say that every week and then forget to grab it, but this time I won't forget.
Yeah, I love that. And what I also like is that what I notice a lot of people are not doing is they're not taking their time building out these artists. Yours looks very sharp, looks clear. It doesn't look like any distortion, where a lot of people are just rushing to get these done and the quality is horrible. So if you're going to build these things out, take your time, get you a workflow, or hire a company that does that type of stuff. Okay. So just its quality is definitely going to be important going into 2026 as well. You might have the platforms like TikTok who kind of, because it's just interest based, you might not have to be all polished over there. But some of the other platforms, you got to look a little bit polished. And you just, if you are trying to attract higher ticket, or if you're trying to attract brands, they're looking for a clean look. You know what I mean? At least if you delete, I mean, you don't have to be a producer, director, all of that type of stuff. But if you can learn how to prompt correctly to get a nice 4K image, and you can literally tell the AI, oh, I want 4K quality. You know what I mean? You can upscale them. So you just have to do your research and just take your time, and just don't throw these things out just because you want to go viral and make money.
That part. Like, and you brought up the key word, which is high ticket. If you want to be seen by a big brand, if you want to bring in high ticket clients, that quality part you don't want to compromise on. That's always been the thing. Like, you don't want to compromise it. But that innovation piece, like, let it marinate. You do not have to miss the bubble if you just let it marinate and then actually execute.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
We're done. So again, next week, we're going to be auditing your businesses. So if you want to, my email is right here displayed on the screen. It is also inside the chat. Make sure you shoot me an email, say me, I would like to sign up for this. You do not have to email us anything else. After that, we're just going to send you a private link to join us on StreamYard, and you'll be able to come up to the stage. Yes, your camera should be on, and your audio should be sound good too. And you're going to tell us about your business next week for everybody to hear. And then we'll be able to audit and then give you some ideas for 2026.
Yeah. And I think too, if for some reason the person doesn't email you, we can offer the opportunity again while we're live and get somebody to come up on here and live too. So
Sounds like a plan.
all
Awesome.
right.
Y'all have a great rest of the week. Christmas is right around the corner. So I know some of y'all trying to like Christmas gift shop, try to get that in before the holidays actually like set in. But we are looking forward to seeing you all next week.